First ever war games between Israel and Russia. Pope Francis to speak at an ecumenical gathering on the National Mall in July. And candid video from a conversation over the weekend between L.A. Marzulli and Mexican ufologist Jaime Maussan. This is SkyWatchTV for Monday, June 13th, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, the deadliest mass shooting in American history. Barely 36 hours ago, a gunman shot more than 100 people at a gay dance club in Orlando. 50 people killed, at least 53 injured before police shot and killed the gunman. 29-year-old Omar Mateen of Port Lucie, Florida, shot his way into the club at about 2 a.m. with an AR-15 style assault rifle. The attack is being investigated as an act of terrorism. According to law enforcement and Homeland Security officials, Mateen was heard praying during the attack in a foreign language. Witnesses said he shouted Allahu Akbar. He reportedly called a 911 operator and pledged allegiance to the Islamic State before he was killed. Now, the Islamic State released a statement through its news division, media wing, taking responsibility for the attack. A co-worker said Mateen was a devout Muslim who brought a prayer mat to work and prayed several times a day. He'd been interviewed 3 times in recent years by the FBI for possible links to terror suspects, but apparently that wasn't enough to prevent him from buying a long gun and a pistol in Orlando last week. Now, liberal media immediately jumped to the defense of Islam. Facebook deleted the Stop Islamization of America page run by outspoken critic of Islam, Pamela Geller. Moderators on Reddit, which is a website where news items can be shared, moderators there have been actively banning posts and banning users posting articles discussing Mateen's religion. And the New York Daily News blames the National Rifle Association. Now, what role did Islam play in this slaughter? Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis is an expert in national security issues and foreign affairs. He included a chapter in his recent book, Never Submit, on the mindset of Muslim men who faithfully follow the teachings of Muhammad. Colonel McGinnis, how responsible is Islam for what took place in Orlando Sunday morning?
Well, it's very predictive, almost prescriptive of what the scholars have said, and that is when you look at the Quran or Hadith or the Sirah, you see very specific things that people ought to do, especially with regard to those that are kafir, or unbelievers, that they're second-class citizens, and under certain circumstances, you do what you want with them, kill them if necessary. Now, certainly when you look at the ideology of ISIS, which tends to be what we call Salafist, they're very conservative, and they take the 7th century prophet's statements as orders, as mandates that they must follow through with. And so these people that subscribe to that are going to do what they've been told. ISIS has put out ideological guidance to have attacks in the West to kill people in the name of their prophet. So, we should not be surprised. Certainly in Never Submit, I'm very clear as to the threat we face, what we must do, and unfortunately, it's also predictive that the things like what happened in Orlando yesterday will, in fact, continue to happen in this country. And that's tragic, especially if we take into account that we have a president that refuses to call the enemy Islam, much less is radical Islam, or the interpretation of that, and apply it in a pretty horrendous manner. So we're looking at, I think, a future of great uncertainty, and this will be one of the indicators that is going to mark the coming years.
Colonel McGinnis will be on Fox News later today, Monday, discussing the tragedy in Orlando. Now, there's another disturbing aspect of this story that's not getting much play in the major media. Mateen was an employee of the world's largest private security contractor, a company called G4S. Their American operations are headquartered at Jupiter, Florida. Mateen worked as a security guard in Port St. Lucie. The government watchdog Judicial Watch reported in March that G4S had been contracted by the Department of Homeland Security to transport illegal immigrants from the Mexican border to to Phoenix, where they're being released without proper processing or issuing court appearance documents. This is according to Border Patrol sources interviewed by Judicial Watch and confirmed by Judicial Watch taking pictures of the immigrants being dropped off in Phoenix. Now, the government had classified these immigrants as OTMs, other than Mexicans, most from Central America, but we don't really know because they've not been properly processed. So there are questions that are still unanswered about this relationship between DHS and G4S. What is the specific arrangement between the government and its contractor? What is happening to those immigrants after they're released in Phoenix? And why has the government chosen to bring illegals deeper into the country and release them without processing court dates? And how many men like Omar Mateen still work for G4S with access to weapons and weapons training and possibly in a position to move undocumented immigrants around the country with the blessing of the federal government? An interesting note from the presidential campaign that may be related. Hillary Clinton canceled a scheduled campaign appearance on Wednesday with President Obama in Green Bay, Wisconsin, reportedly because of the tragedy in Orlando. My perhaps cynical hunch is that Hillary doesn't want to be associated with President Obama's anti-gun stance right now, because most Americans out here in flyover land, right or wrong, have an understandable response to what just happened in Orlando, and it is not to ban guns. Now, later on Sunday, last night, police in California arrested a suspect from Indiana with a carload of weapons, ammunition, and possible explosives. He told Santa Monica police that he was in town for the LA Gay Pride Festival in West Hollywood. There is no apparent connection to what happened in Orlando. Pope Francis, once again partnering with American evangelicals and especially American charismatic Christians. The Pope will speak via video at an event in Washington, D.C. called Together 2016. This is scheduled for July 16th on the National Mall. You know, it's where we've got that giant statue that represents the 14th part of Osiris. More than 1,000 churches have pledged to send people to the event. It's headlined by Hillsong United, which is the praise and worship band from Hillsong Church, based out of Australia, and features a who's who of American evangelicals, both preachers and musicians, people like Francis Chan, Ravi Zacharias, Josh McDowell, Kirk Franklin, Louis Palau, Samuel Rodriguez, Ronnie Floyd, president of the Southern Baptist Convention, musicians like Michael W. Smith, Kerry Jobe, Crowder, Casting Crowns, Lauren Daigle, Jeremy Camp, Luker, and frankly, a bunch of others whose names I don't recognize because I'm not in the target demographic. The issue we see here is this, and I will confess that I'm not deeply familiar with all of these attendees. I'm familiar with some. But ecumenical gatherings with the Roman Catholic Church is problematic if you're a Protestant, or at least it should be, because official Roman Catholic doctrine contains some very fundamental differences with Protestant theology that can't be papered over simply because Pope Francis appears to be nice or holds the same or politically correct view of global warming. And here's something I didn't expect to report on. One outcome from last week's meeting between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Vladimir Putin, the announcement of the first ever war games with coordination between the Israeli and Russian armed forces. They should take place this summer over the Mediterranean. This decision is big. It spells the end of the special relationship of the IDF with the United States military. Now, Putin has been trying to get a foot in the door for the Russian energy giant Gazprom to help Israel develop its offshore gas fields, Leviathan and Tamar, out in the Mediterranean. And for his part, Netanyahu has been looking for a way to offset the deterioration in Israel's relationship with the United States during the Obama administration. Keep an eye on this. Speaking of President Obama, of course, he made history as America's first African-American president. He may want to go out making history as well. Over the weekend, L.A. Marzulli and filmmaker Richard Shaw had dinner with Mexican ufologist and journalist Jaime Maussan. He hosts the popular television programs Contact and Third Millennium. That's not the official title, that's the English translation of the title because my Spanish is horrible. Anyway, Maussan told L.A. that President Obama may surprise the world before the end of his term by disclosing the existence of E.T.
I want to ask you about disclosure. At the dinner table tonight, we were talking about John Podesta, talking about when he left the Obama administration. He basically stated he wished he had done more to reveal the so-called extraterrestrial presence to the American people. What do you think?
Podesta knows this is true. Podesta knows that the government is hiding this information.
Sure, absolutely.
And I believe he wants to be part of history. And I believe he thinks it is the right thing to do. I believe he knows he has the chance, he's in the position, and he has to do it. We can see how fast this world is changing.
Very quickly.
In every sense.
Every sense, I agree.
This is a very different world from 1947. And I think they are understanding now, because of this pace of change, that this is something extraordinary and they have to do something about it. And I believe Obama, right now, because of what he has done through the year, through this 2016, he wants to be part of history. And this is an incredible opportunity for him to be part of history.
For the record, neither L.A. Marzulli, Richard Shaw, me, or anyone else here at SkyWatch TV believes that the entities presenting themselves as extraterrestrial are really from other planets. They are interdimensional. They've been with us here on Earth since the beginning of history. It just suits them to pretend to be ET because most of us find it easier to believe that we were created by ancient aliens than to believe we were created by the God of the Bible. And by the way, Maussan has shared some information and some images with L.A. Marzulli that he has not been at liberty to disclose until this summer. He will share those during his presentation at the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference and in his upcoming video release, co-produced with Richard Shaw, Watchers 10. We'll have information on how you can watch the live stream of that presentation, plus 39 other presentations from the Prophecy Conference coming up at the end of this program. Now, a couple of other in-house notes. First, we had announced last week that last week was the final week to take advantage of that crazy $19.95 offer for the new book by Tom Horn and Chris Putnam, The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade. Tom has decided to extend that offer by a few days. We've gotten some more shipments, really. I mean, we're getting pallet loads of books back in the warehouse to include with the free offer to replace things that we've run out of. So he has extended the offer. You can still take advantage of it. $200 worth of books, DVDs, CDs, and other research information included with the book when you order The Final Roman Emperor, the Islamic Antichrist, and the Vatican's Last Crusade at SkyWatchTVstore.com, only through the SkyWatch TV store. But hurry, because when the new supply of books runs out, this offer will end. And please, again, I ask, please be patient with the folks back there in the warehouse and in the store. The stack of invoices going from the store to the people in the warehouse is huge. We had to pull some of the folks out of the warehouse last week to bale hay for the therapy horses at Whispering Ponies Ranch. So please, we just beg you, just a little more patience. I know that some of you have paid for 2-day U.S. Postal Service shipping. Bear in mind that's 2 days from the time the Postal Service picks up the boxes. So it's 2 days from the point that the box leaves the warehouse. And as hard as we try, we cannot get those orders out in the same day. Your response has been almost overwhelming, and we do thank you for that. Also, as Tom and Nita Horn announced on the Hagman and Hagman program last week, they're offering a unique way for you to partner with Whispering Ponies Ranch, and that is by sponsoring a pony for $1,000, which helps to defray the cost of food, veterinary care, the work that the farriers have to do on the ponies. you'll get a hoof-signed frameable picture of the pony that you sponsor, plus a personally autographed copy of Nita Horn's biography, No Fences. For more information, you'll find it in the top menu bar at SkyWatchTV.com. This week on SkyWatch TV, we're featuring an interview that, in my opinion, is possibly the most important interview that we've done in the 14 months that we've been on the air. 24/7 access to the internet through smartphones and tablets is giving predators access to your children that you would not imagine. Most of our kids, grandkids, take their phones to bed with them at night, which means these predators have access to your child's bedroom, people that you would not let past your front door. Our guest this week on SkyWatch TV is Opal Singleton, the president and CEO of MillionKids.org, which is a reference to the number of children pulled into human trafficking each year. These predators are using social media apps, and I'm not talking about the ones that we know about, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. They're using things like Kik, Tinder, and others that I don't even remember the names of, to contact and groom our children and to pull them into a living hell of prostitution, pornography, and drugs. This is an important interview, and I urge you to see it. You'll see it this evening, down in the Arkansas area on the Victory Television Network. Tomorrow, 4 different locations around the country, including Coast to Coast on the Christian Television Network. Coast to Coast Wednesday afternoon on the Cornerstone Network. And then again Saturday on the Christian Television Network and the Victory Television Network. It's also available now online and at the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku. And we're also adding as a bonus this week, our web exclusive interview this week is a second interview with Opal Singleton, discussing how new technologies, 4 new technologies introduced since the beginning of this year, are making it easier for predators. That interview available at the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku and on YouTube. And you'll also find it linked at SkyWatchTV.com. Now, if you need a more portable version of SkyWatch TV, remember the SkyWatch TV podcast is available for you 24/7. It's an audio version of all of these programs, including these daily news updates. You'll find that linked at SkyWatchTV.com with instructions on how you can add it to your iTunes account. You can listen to us on Stitcher or add it to your another podcatcher. That link also, SkyWatchTV.com. Look for it in the top menu bar. We depend on your support here at SkyWatch TV, and during the month of June, our thank you for your support of any amount. A couple of books suitable for Dad just in time for Father's Day. The Fisherman's Guide to Life and The Man in the Mirror, Solving the Problems Men Face. Again, we'll send those books to you for your donation of any amount to Canada and the United States only, please. For more information and to give, log on to skywatchtv.com/donate. And of course, your mouse finger can also be a big help to us here at SkyWatch TV. If you click like, click share where you see those little buttons on the stories, or if you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe, please. We appreciate the sharing and the helping. And if you've got any comments, we also appreciate those as well. We find those helpful. Send those to dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV. You can host the biggest prophecy conference of 2016 in your living room. Of course, I'm talking about the Rocky Mountain International Prophecy Conference, July 15th through the 17th. You can bring all 26 experts on the Bible, geopolitics, prophecy, and archaeology into your living room over the internet via live video stream. 40 presentations in all from speakers like L.A. Marzulli, Avi Lipkin, Chris Putnam, Stan Deyo, Dr. Randall Price, filmmaker Timothy Mahoney, best-selling author Joel Richardson, Joseph Farah of WorldNet Daily, and many more. 40 in all in crystal clear HD video, and all presentations archived for 6 weeks after the conference. You can go back and watch again. Again, how about that? You can host the biggest conference of the year in your home. For information and to sign up, log on to prophecywatchers.com.